Yikes! Can we say anything else like that? Um, Sharks lose a tough one, 5-2. Oh boy, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about good starts, horrible finishes, horrible middles, nightmarish middles, and a lot more. Welcome to Teal Town After Dark. Thanks for joining us. It is October 15th, 2022. The Sharks lose 5-2 to Chicago. We welcome you to this edition of Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive post-game show for everything Sharks. So if you want to be part of the show, join the conversation and chat with us and fellow Sharks fans in Sharks territory and all over the world on the YouTube page or the app. Of course, follow us on that social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, Discord, TikTok, and of course, smash that subscribe button on YouTube and find everything at tealtownusa.com. I'm coming in a little hot there. You know who's not coming up hot there? The Sharks. But you know it's great to have to talk about this one? Mr. Ian Reid.
What do we even say at this point? What do you even say?
We're 4 games in. We can't do that already.
Sure you can.
Oh, boy.
Like, it's bad. Like, it's really bad. Like, and I know it's funny because I was like watching on Twitter, right? And it's like, I think it was Shang saying like it's a little early in the season to be to write the worst game of the season thing, but here we are, and he's not wrong, right? And,
no.
And maybe his, and maybe Twitter's right. Maybe worst game so far.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It gets worse. It probably does. I mean, this is Chicago. This Chicago team is not good.
Well, my friend, you've already been given the gauntlet. Just another Randy G, a $20 super chat donation. Usually I just let you talk for a little bit, but the floor is yours. For Ian making the video demonetized, let the rants begin.
I mean, this fucking team, right? I don't even know where to start. Like, and that's the worst part. Like, I don't even know where to start because this Chicago team is shit. And I came into this game, I was pretty happy, man. I watched 2 Barracuda games over the last couple of days. I didn't watch the game last night. Smart.
Real
Watched
smart.
this one, unfortunately. Not smart. I think of the 2, I'd probably rather have watched the game last night. Like, geez, man, I don't know. We'll get into this. I mean, let's get into the game. I will rant. Don't worry, you will get your money worth.
Well, let's get into it because the Sharks had lost last night in a heartbreaker, 2-1 to Carolina, where again they were having a rough time getting shots. Then in this first period, it takes them 11 minutes to get a shot on goal. I mean, my goodness, it's just bad. But you get 2 goals. You get Nico Sturm, his first goal as a Shark to make it 1-0. I thought when I saw the second goal, I thought that for sure that was Couture, and I was like, oh wow, what a great time to get your stick in. But it goes off of Jones to make it 2-0. Talk about the 2 goals in the first for the Sharks.
I want to talk about the first 10 minutes because that was amazing. And it's just like, it was so funny, right? Because it was like, you're coming into this game, this team's bad, but you don't know how bad it's going to be. You're playing another dreadful team in Chicago, and then you don't get a shot on goal for 10 minutes. And honestly, I was having the time of my life during that because it was just kind of funny, right? Like, you just kind of laugh at it. And then, of course, they get the 2 goals, which is good. Sharks do good. It's good. We've established this on many a show. And then it goes off the rails, and it sucks because like they kind of pull you in, right? I'm in. Okay, yeah, we might beat Chicago because again, right? Like, I understand team tank and everything else, right? But here's the problem: the draft isn't until like fucking May. It's October, right? Like, we have to get through this first. So it's like, if we're gonna subject ourselves to this fucking team, which we've for some reason signed up for, all of us, you're gonna have to, you're gonna want to see them win at least once in a while. And they get 2 goals, and you're like, okay, yeah, look, things were kind of hilarious to start, but they kind of turned it on, and here we go, and it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna beat a shitty Chicago team, right? Rock on, like this is the great. Peter Mrazek sucks, like we should be fine.
We should be fine. I mean, Joe Thornton was in the building. I mean, that should have scared the bejesus out of Mrazek first and foremost.
I was wondering if he was having like PTSD, and that's why he started letting in those goals.
Yes. Oh, God. Not to laugh at PTSD, but I mean, it's Jumbo and that whole fall part. But
God, we've just become such a like. Here's the thing, right? Like, obviously PTSD, serious thing, but it's a joke. Yeah, just take it for what it is. God damn.
See, here's the thing. I know we're wearing the throwback jerseys, and I know everybody wants these jerseys back. They lost 128 games in these sweaters. And right now, yeah, let's bring these back because it's at the point where it's just bad. I mean, just, oh, God.
I mean, where do you start? Like, it's the worst blue line in the league, and that's a feat.
Right? I mean,
the forward group is gritty, I guess. Like,
well, they said they want grit. You needed. This is what I don't understand. Is that you needed goal scoring, so let's go get grit.
Yeah.
And I get it that you want to shore up, the second 6 or the bottom 6 of your line combinations.
Sure.
So that way they're keeping them out of the PK and everything. Granted, Couture is one of your best PKers. Hurdle is one of your best PKers as well. But you have the likes of Sturm, Nieto and such to do that for them. Oh my God. And it's just...
I mean, Nieto's fucking washed. Like, this team is so weirdly constructed, right? But I'm kind of fine with how it's constructed at the same way. Not because I think it's like constructed to win games, but obviously if the goal was that they were going to just put as much dead weight in front of the prospects as they could, I mean, mission accomplished. Yeah. But I don't think, like, I think if you... Here's the thing, and maybe I'm going to say something, and maybe people are going to get really mad at me for this. But I think if you go a different route and you don't bring in some of those guys and you replace some of those guys with some of the kids, they're just losing with kids.
Right. And that's, I think, the whole point. I think you've been hearing it ad nauseum on the broadcast already, is that they want them to earn their way up, not just be handed it to them. Which
I mean, after tonight, like I think there's a big spot on the blue line for where Ryan Merkley should fit. But like after tonight, seeing this team the way it played tonight, I don't want the kids anywhere near this fucking disaster. Like, light it on fire, let it float down the river on fire for the rest of the year. Leave the fucking kids out of this, man. Like, leave them. Don't put them in this fucking cesspool that you've built.
As painful as it is, because let's be honest here, we would love to see the likes of Eklund, Bordeleau, Gushchin, Co, and get Merkley, and we'll talk about a lot of that later on with the Kuhre in a bit. But it's like, yeah, it pains me to say it because it's like, they can help you with scoring and everything and maybe be an uplift. But at the same time, I'd rather them be a championship caliber team in the AHL, as much as that hurts. And I know there's going to be some people who are going to be embarrassed that they may win the Calder Cup before they win a Stanley Cup. But I'd rather have them win a Calder Cup before they get to the Stanley Cup, because at least they'll have a championship pedigree.
It's not even just that though. Like, I don't think that if you bring a bunch of those kids up, I don't think it's going to change the outcome. Like, I don't think this is a playoff team if you pick your guy that you don't like that's in, that's on this lineup right now, and you throw Thomas Bordeleau in there, and then kick another guy out, and you throw Eklund in there. you're just moving deck chairs around.
And is having him maybe be on the third line even going to be beneficial for his development?
Well,
Probably
at
not.
least Quinn will have someone to blame games like tonight on. Because, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Because, obviously, I don't remember which goal it was, but, there was one goal where Logan Couture was just kind of standing there watching the puck go in the net. Just watching the puck.
Yeah, that's
where's the accountability? There's not going to be any. We know better.
Yeah, no, that was what really irked me. Were on those 2 goals from Sam Lafferty. I know we're jumping ahead, but 3 goals in 3.5 minutes, 2 shorthanded goals from the same player. I think they said since 2002 was the last time.
2 shorthanded goals.
2 shorthanded goals by the same player.
I mean, yeah, by the same player, but I mean the fact that you got back-to-back shorthanded goals, fuck. Again, I don't even know how to I wish I had words to I wish I had intelligent words to say right now. I just don't, because I don't know how to even begin to fucking break that down in my mind.
Yeah. And it's frustrating because, like you said, they got off to a good start. No,
they did. They got off to a shitty start.
Well,
they got their legs under them, and then the wheels fell off.
You're right. My apologies on that. They got it right. They right the ship. I think they were outshot 6-0 at one point, and then they finish up 9-8 after one period. But then, they had those 2. What was that? Maybe 5.5 minutes of good play.
Mm-hmm.
Carlson looked great there, and he was making nice passes. I mean, they were, dare I say, Thornton-esque.
It was the pass. The pass to Sturm for that first Sharks goal was chef's kiss, amazing, right? And then again, good shot. If Couture didn't get there in time after the replay, but still, it was a good shot. It was a well placed shot on net. I think that, the thing with the shorthanded goals is it's hard, especially when the second one, okay, the play broke down and went, but the first shorthanded goal, how are you outnumbered in your own zone when you have more people on the ice and the puck didn't even go to the other zone first?
Yep.
How the fuck does that happen?
I kind of pointed at EK on that first shorty, but he had nobody helping him. But you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Couture, well, yeah, I mean, you're trying to again. Here's the thing, right? When you are Erik Karlsson and you're on the power play, you are trying to drive the play the other fucking way. So obviously he's going to try and get a jump to get into the play because that's where he needs to be on the power play. So was it not the greatest pinch? Absolutely not the greatest fucking pinch. But he's doing what he's supposed to do on that play. The puck isn't supposed to come into your zone on the power play. You're supposed to go the other fucking way.
Right. And with the talent on that power play, let's be honest here, they should be doing a hell of a lot better. I mean, what are we at now? Overall, -1 on the power play now?
Lazy. Oh. And it was just lazy stuff. It was just guys not getting back, guys not fucking moving their feet, guys watching the puck. And it's not, again, it's not, these aren't kids fucking up. These are guys that are making millions of fucking dollars.
Exactly.
They're veteran players. The veteran players that are supposed to make this team so much harder to play. Are they harder to play against? Not so far. I mean, it's 4 games in. There's, again, I've said this on, the previous show we've done this year, right? Obviously there's going to take time for systems and stuff to get put into place. But, I mean, 4 games in, not looking fantastic.
Yeah. Rod Smith with the Super Chat donation. When you donate for a Super Chat, of course, it goes back to help support the show and everything. A tough one.
Not get demonetized.
Yes, because Ian's already done that for us, apparently. Thanks, Ian.
Wow. This fucking team. What can I say?
Oh, dude, I'm right there. Rodden asking, Couture is declining badly. Do you guys agree?
I have been a long time defender of Logan Couture. You can find plenty of video of me defending Logan Couture. I have no defense for Logan Couture tonight. Like I just, uh, again, like I think, do I blame? Like I think Logan Couture gets a lot of shit for things that aren't his fault. The team being where it is isn't because he took the captaincy. Like the not his fault.
No.
Right? But his play is getting concerning at this point, and it's getting harder and harder to defend.
And you consider, and I know Landy, you mentioned in Father Time in the chat, but you have to think about the amount of injuries he's gone through over the last few years. I mean, the teeth ad nauseum, of course. I mean, it seems like the puck's attracted to him, and the ankle and such.
Here's the other thing too, right? Like his quality of fucking line mate has gone
big
nosedived. But like at some point, like you're still, he's a player that makes $8 million. Like you'd like to see at least someone on this team give you some fucking return on investment.
Yeah, something, anything, for that matter. I mean, the Sharks have 6 goals? Let's see.
Yeah.
Cunnin.
Yeah, and like in the chat, like Couture's more of a playoff guy. Yeah, I absolutely agree. But the problem is like
you need to get him into the playoffs.
Playoffs? Playoffs.gif.
Take a breather. But I mean, you have 6 goals from the Sharks. Let's see. Sturm, Carlson, Sveshnikov, Cunnin, Hurdle, Couture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you can count them after 4 games, that's bad. And dare I say 2 or fewer, but it's gone completely opposite.
Yeah, well, goals are going to be hard for this team. Like we knew this going into the season. Goals were going to be hard for this team.
Yep.
Right? Like this team is not going to score buckets of goals. The problem is it has the worst blue line in the league, so it's not going to prevent buckets of goals either. Yeah. And like I don't think Kakko, like I'm sure if you asked Kakko Kapanen right now, Kakkonen, sorry, did he have a good game? I'm sure he would tell you no, he did not.
Yeah. 20 saves on 25 shots, 800 save percentage.
Like, look at, I mean, and again, like, and some people would be like, oh, here Ian goes fucking up the goalies again. But like, look at some point here, like, I understand that he got hung out to dry a lot tonight, but you still like, I don't know if Reimer lets in all those goals on all those plays.
Yeah, that one's tough. Like, I mean, he made the initial stop on Taves. He was kind of hung out to dry on the 2 shorties, but the ones in the third period, those were rough.
Yeah. I again, right? Like I don't think he had his best game. I saw some stuff like, oh no, they should have kept Adin Hill. No, they shouldn't have. Kakkonen's still the better of the two. Let's not get carried away here. No. But. Not a good night, obviously, for Kakkonen. And I think he'd be the first to tell you he didn't have a good night tonight. And look, the thing with this team is obviously they're all about earning shit. And look at if Kaapo Kakkonen's going to be this guy's goalie going further, he has to pry the net away from James Reimer. Look at, I love James Reimer, but that shouldn't be of an incredibly difficult thing to do. And I say that with all due respect. I love James Reimer. James Reimer's a guy. He's been very good for the Sharks, but he's not like James Reimer's not an elite goaltender.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean if Kaapo Kakkonen is supposed to be the guy, he has to wrestle the net away from James Reimer. So far, I mean again, 4 games in, again, we have to keep saying this so that I don't get yelled at on Twitter about stupid shit, but again, so far, James Reimer's been the better of the 2. Last year, James Reimer was the better of the 2.
I mean, we were talking potential all-star chance early on at this team. Michael Walters, I've left this up. If Alexander Barabanov being injured ruins your hockey team, then you have bigger problems.
Again, this team is as deep as a puddle. So when you have no scoring and you lose what little scoring you have, I like Barabanov. I don't want to I don't want to say mean things about Barabona, but like if he's right though. Like if Barabonov's the difference between this team winning and losing, which I don't think it is. I think it's it would help. It would certainly help because I think you have guys playing in weird roles right now. Like I like what Luke Cunningham's done so far, but like Barabonov should be the guy on that line.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agreed, and maybe it balances things out a little bit more on there. Taco Cruiser with the $5 super chat donation. If the Sharks continue to suck, oh, Lordy, I'm glad I never had to do.
When the Sharks continue to suck, fixed it for you.
I'm glad we never did After Darks in 1991 and 92 because it would have been an absolute crap storm. I mean, do you think they could trade Timo Meier?
I mean,
that's a tough one.
That's a toughie. Look, it depends on what the plan is, right? And it's funny because last year we're gonna have the same conversation that we had last year a lot this year. The only thing we're gonna change is we're gonna swap out Tomas Hertl for Timo Meier.
Exactly.
Because now Timo Meier's the Tomas Hertl was the canary in the coal mine, but then they switched GMs and got new plans and everything else. So now Timo Meier's the canary in the coal mine. And so obviously now what they do with Timo Meier is going to give us a good idea of what they think this is, how long they think this is going to turn around. If they think that they can turn this around quickly, like within 2-3 years, they re-sign him. If they don't, 5-6 maybe, I don't know.
Oh boy. Yeah, and that's the tough one. Man, I mean, how do you go from maybe they should keep Hertl, they signed Hertl to a big year, and then you say no, we're going to get rid of a guy who's got a bunch of talent, younger, and is probably one of your I haven't looked up the stats, but probably one of your leading guys on shots on goal.
I'm gonna hit the chat here quick.
Go for it.
I think it was Landy asked, are the Sharks the worst team in the West? No, the Coyotes exist. But they're right there.
And they have 4 times the seating capacity.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like,
at least they're making some revenue,
I don't think
right?
Chicago is particularly good either, to be completely honest, despite what we watched tonight. The thing that's worse about Chicago and the thing that's worse about Arizona is they have ways that they can still get worse. And they will actively try and do it. Like, Patrick Kane is not finishing the year on the Blackhawks. Jacob Chychrun is not finishing the year in Arizona. Like, those teams are already not good, and they will get worse. And I don't think, unless the Sharks trade Timo, because they're not, like, again, the Sharks they could trade Timo, right? That could happen, but will it happen? I'm not as sold as I don't think it's a given as much as Patrick Kane being gone by the end of the year and Jacob Chychrun being gone, probably before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, man. Why is it in my mind seem that it would make more sense that Timo gets traded? Maybe because there's a new regime in here and they're not emotionally attached to him.
I think it depends on what your plan is, right? Again, it all comes down to what they think the window is to turn this around.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, and the Coyotes played the Penguins yesterday bad.
Yeah, the Coyotes are absolute ass, and they're going to get worse. Here's the thing, you can trade Reimer, you can trade Timo, but I don't think either of those things are going to happen anytime soon. Like, the Sharks aren't actively, again, the whole mantra of this whole regime is everyone has to earn everything. Yeah. So you don't trade Reimer and give Kaapo Kähkönen the net if he hasn't earned the net.
And you talk about everybody earning their spot.
Right.
There you go.
Like, you can't say everyone's got to earn their spot and then trade guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't make sense. Like, and do I totally buy into what Mike Grier is selling? No, I don't. But if you're going to take it at even remote face value, like, these things aren't in the cards. Could these things happen at the trade deadline? Absolutely. Are these things going to happen before Thanksgiving? No.
Unless it's
right?
really
like
bad.
That's what I mean. Like, so with the mantra being what it is, like, I think the Sharks have a plan. Do I think it's a good plan? Do I think it's a great plan? The jury's out. But like, I don't think they're going to deviate from it. Like, I think you can scream to the heavens about how you want Ryan Merkley on this blue line and Thomas Bordeleau, playing with Couture or whatever. It's not happening. It's not coming.
No, it's just scary. Jerry F. thinking outside the bun, I guess, as one of the old slogans. I just hope the Taco Bell doesn't funnel its cost savings of several no free tacos into a Sharks jersey ad. Yeah, no, I get you. Unfortunately, you're not wrong. But two breakaways. You had Taves and Radish. That just adds on to the disgusting part of their defensive woes.
Yeah, like the worst blue line in the league, and that's a feat.
Yeah, and it really showed tonight on there. To lose this 5-2 over this.
Like, there's no chemistry on this blue line either, and that's the problem. Like, they don't have no one seems to mesh together either, which is why you constantly seeing like the pairs kind of getting bounced around. There's no chemistry on this blue line at all.
It's just scary, to think, to see everything just falling through, because it just seems like faulty synapse. Oh, come on, race to 72. It's not gonna be that bad, people. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. It can't be that bad because like you can't tie.
Yeah, and you need to build the chemistry, and you need to work on that, and like the power play. You're supposed to get that power play going. You haven't found it yet. I mean, one power play goal, but that gets washed away in just what, 2 minutes and 8 seconds from Sam Lafferty. So, Chris, no one ever says a team has chemistry if they aren't playing well.
Okay, so maybe chemistry isn't the word you want to use, but like none of these guys are meshing. Like,
cohesive.
Even on the most dysfunctional of fucking blue lines, usually one blue line, like one guy on the blue line knows where the other guy is. Like, I don't know, man.
I don't know. It's gonna be. They got. I hate cursing on here, but they got to get their shit together.
Yeah, you can't swear. It's my job.
Oh, never mind. Okay. All right. No, you got it. Any final thoughts left on this one before we move on? We got a full show this evening.
Oh my God. Yeah, burn the fucking tape. Don't ever watch this game again if you can. AHL Live is
pretty affordable.
It's not cheap, but it's not expensive either, in my opinion. Anyway, maybe it is for you. I'm not going to sit here and judge your finances, but I think the home and away package for the Barracuda is very affordable. You should do that.
No.
Or find if your thing is to fight the pop-up war, then there's other places you can go to. But yeah.
Taco Cruiser with another super chat. Is Connor Bedard rated as high as Connor McDavid was?
Oh man, Connor McDavid is such a fucking unicorn. I think Connor Bedard's really good. Connor McDavid, he is not.
Yeah. Our numbers have been spiking, so I'm actually going to thank the 100 people that are watching us right now. Sorry, I forgot
Welcome to my breakdown.
Yes, it is a breakdown. So thank you. If you haven't already, do yourself a favor. Please subscribe. Give us some love. Give us some sort of positivity going on here. Thumbs up as well. 13. Who thumbed us down? Come on. And of course, hit that notification bell. That'll let you know when we go on the air or when we go live if for breaking news. Whenever apparently the people are already trying to trade Timo Meyer or whatnot and everything. And for that matter, if you're not watching this live, leave a comment down below and tell us how well our team is doing. So we'll put a bow on the Sharks there. Let's go over the night that was for Doug Wilson as he gets recognized. What did you think of the ceremony?
It's fine, right? I don't know. But it was fine. It's the usual thing. Look at Doug Wilson. I'm gonna try and do my best to behave here because I said before this game that I'm not gonna take pot shots at Doug Wilson. We're gonna be kind and respectful on this channel today. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep that going. I'm gonna do my best. So here we go. It was fine, right? It was what you would expect. Obviously, you had players that were there to pay tribute. You had players that had video tributes that came in after. Doug Wilson changed this team. When Doug Wilson took over this team was this plucky, happy to be there team, and he turned this team into a real contender, a real team. The Sharks became a real team under Doug Wilson's watch. They kind of shed the whole, plucky expansion team, just good enough to get in and not really good enough to do anything, into a team that was one of the better teams in the league. Now, obviously, the stroke against him is we never won the silver shiny thing. And we found some pretty fucking painful ways not to do it at that.
Thanks for memories.
So yeah, well, again, you gotta give out the facts.
No, it's true, and it's pain.
And so I have a lot of admiration for Doug Wilson for what he did for this franchise, for turning this team into, or like I said, a real fucking team. I thought it was fitting that he was there tonight to see what he turned this team into.
Good point.
Couldn't do it. I tried so fucking hard.
No, but it's true. It is true. I mean, this team is in quite a bit of disarray. And he kind of ponied up to it at the presser that I was at today. Mm-hmm. We have a little bit of the clip, his opening remarks, but he did say, when you go for it, you go for it, and that's where where you have to improve.
And the Sharks went for it. Say what you will about Doug Wilson, mortgage in the future, whatever. The Sharks went for it. There was never there was so many years where I got to start the season, and not only the playoffs were a fucking given.
Yeah.
It was is this the year we're going to win the cup? And as a Sharks fan, there was a long stretch where that was our start of the season. It wasn't this nonsense of, are we ever going to win a fucking game? Right?
Right.
So, I mean, and again, yes, would it have been nice to win a Stanley Cup somewhere in there? Of course it would have been nice. That's why you play the fucking games. But it didn't happen. And you know what? Doesn't happen for a lot of teams.
Yeah. I mean,
he went for it. He absolutely went for it.
It's incredibly fortunate that, he twisted Hasso's arm to make sure he paid everybody, for that matter. I mean, and to spend to the cap and have the ability to spend to the cap. You look at Arizona and Anaheim,
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You look at Arizona, Anaheim, who have quote unquote internal budgets,
right,
to go for it. They went for it, and don't think it's going to come out like I'm defending him, but I don't care. Don't think it's not going to eat Doug Wilson apart he didn't get the big shiny thing.
It wasn't for a lack of trying. It wasn't it wasn't I never consider Doug Wilson being a guy who was going to be we're just, if we win, great. That was never Doug Wilson.
Yeah. Let me play the clip from today. Sure. You can tell he's coughing up a little bit still. So be understanding of that. But here's Doug Wilson earlier today, as he was talking about coming back to San Jose, and basically chatting with media members for the first time in nearly 11 months.
Yeah.
The Cow Palace days and things like that. But as I say, we'll get caught up a little bit. This has been an interesting trip for my family because it's a bit of a closure for them. When we all came out here, my kids were, 7, 5, 3, and 1. And now all my grandkids are those ages, so it's a full circle and everything. But just want to, again, thank Hasso and the organization, because I think what I am is just a reflection of all sorts of different people in this organization. And you go back to Cow Palace days, you go back to coaches, trainers, staff, office people, and everything. So I think you all know how I feel about Mr. Gund, and none of us would be here without him. So to be up here to represent all the people in the last 25, 28, 30 years or whatever it is an honor that I take, can't even put into words. And so to be back here to do that and acknowledge that, I'm starting to, as I say, get some memories thinking of all the great players we've had that have come through this organization. Not just great players, but great people. And that includes, the Cow Palace days, the teams that made the first playoff run, all the way through to even the last couple of years, where it's been a challenge, with the COVID things that impacted everything and changed the world and the environment. But I'm so proud of all our players, and really been a privilege to work and be with all of them. So.
Yeah, so it was a nice chat. He was basically, talking about being represented, practically 30 years of history, and yeah, he wasn't with the org for a little bit here and there, but you hit it on the head earlier, Ian. He's done a lot of good. Yeah, we're paying for it now.
Yeah, I mean, the check was always going to come due. Look, the check comes due for all teams, right? Like,
look at Detroit.
Right. Yeah, and there's a perfect example, right? And which again, I mean, as a franchise that Doug Wilson modeled us after was the the 90s 2000s Detroit Red Wings. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like look at Detroit, because that's where we are now. Yeah, I mean, again, like I Stanley Cups are nice, don't get me wrong, but I look at people. I'm not going to tell you how you should feel about Doug Wilson, right? Like, you got to decide that for yourself. Do I think that Doug Wilson is a big part of the reason why we're in the current mess we're in? Of course it is. Like, but he did a lot of things that were just dictated by the leagues. I've also said on previous shows, like, if Doug Wilson doesn't sign all the long-term deals, right? Because that's the big bone of contention. Oh, the long-term deals. He used to only sign 3-year deals, and now we signed 8. Well, the whole fucking league was signing 8-year fucking deals. So what happens if he doesn't sign the 8-year deals and all those players fucking walk? And then you just lose those players by attrition. Then what do we say, right? Now, we'll never know, because that didn't happen. That's some alternate timeline that never happened. But I don't think we would have anything nicer to say about Doug Wilson or Hasso Plattner for that matter, if Logan Couture walks and and Vlasic walks. Now, obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, it would have been awesome for Vlasic to walk, because nobody has fallen off a cliff as fast as Vlasic, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, again, like, I don't want to turn this into like a beat up on Doug Wilson thing. Like, I appreciate what he did for the team. And I hope, above all else, hockey aside, like, I just want the dude to be healthy, right? Healthy, right. Good, happy. Like, he's a human fucking being. And I wish nothing but the best for Doug Wilson, the human being.
Yeah. I mean, it was apparent he was coughing still a bit. He didn't go into what was going on. He did say he, was a bad patient. And I kind of joked with him, and it's like, that's the hockey tenacity of, toughing things out, right? Mm-hmm. So, but he was in good spirits and everything, and
yeah, he looked good. I'm just happy to see him, because for a long time we didn't see him.
Exactly.
Like, when When we didn't see him when Marlowe announced his retirement. I thought we'd see him and we didn't, and that concerned the fuck out of me.
Right. That was, to me, very scary. Yeah. And with everybody being mum, and understandable, it's none of our damn business as to what's going on. Like you said, it's a matter of hoping he's okay and wishing him the best.
No, I mean, above all else, put the state of the team and everything that aside. Obviously, I want Doug Wilson to be alive and well and healthy and happy,
right.
And so he can enjoy his family and all the shit that I think we would. Hopefully everyone would wish on each other, right?
Yeah. Oh, of course. And that's one of the big things I think from the organization. And even when we talked to Randy Hahn, the other day, he even said, he was one guy that he could go to just to talk about things. And we've heard in the past how this organization has been very much a family, or feel like a family. So I think that's one of the qualities that he brought and kind of shared with the org. But yeah, the state of the Sharks right now, it's rough on Doug, and it's tough on that legacy, but the legacy has been there for a reason. There's a reason why he has a banner in his honor, Yes.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, look at these are jobs like this. You are hired to be fired. Right. That is the nature of those jobs. GMing, coaching, you're hired to be fired. That's the business.
You will be replaced eventually.
Yeah. Eventually shit's going to go south, and then, you're going to need someone new to come in with some new ideas. That's just, that's the way that this business works.
Yeah.
Everyone has a shelf life, including even the best guys have shelf lives.
Exactly. And falling in love with, his players. I mean,
But I will say this from the couple of things from the ceremony that I did think were that they tickled me a little bit, right? When they were going through all the deals, they brought up the Brent Burns deal. I'm like, Setaguchi's on the ice, man. How are you going to do him like that?
You're right. Oh, man.
And,
I didn't really think about
no mention of that Erik Karlsson deal.
Oh, no. I wonder why. Yeah.
And I'm not even you guys know I like Erik Karlsson, but it still had to be pointed out.
And if you want to hear more about Erik Karlsson, tune in tomorrow for the Pucknologist. That's no, jeez.
Get fired.
Jeez. Right. So moving onward. Hey, you know what, Ian? I think we've had enough negativity tonight. Let's talk about something positive. All right. All right. Let's talk about it right now.
Ooh, Barracuda.
The Barracuda are undefeated.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah. Barracuda. So I watched both games, and if you were following our Twitter at Tealtown USA, I was tweeting all about the games as they were happening. Sometimes they make GIFs, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It's an interesting business we find ourselves in. No, actually, look at the Barracuda games. Both of them were really fun to watch. And maybe that's why this game, I think I was just able to laugh off the start of the game just because I was in such a good mood from the Barracuda game that happened before it. Let's start with last night's game first. So last night's game, they beat the Iowa Wild in a shootout, 4-3. I thought it was a really good game from the Barracuda. They came out flying. They were really good for the first half of the game. They were really good. What happened to them was in the third period, they kind of got a little bit into a little bit of penalty trouble. And I think what happened was Obviously, when you're killing penalties, that puts a lot of strain on specific players. And I think they just kind of burnt themselves out. And then Iowa, so they made a couple of mistakes because I think they were just a little bit tired from having their key guys killing so many penalties. And then when they made a mistake, Iowa jumped on them. And unfortunately, they were able to come back all the way back and tie it up. Aaron Dell was fantastic, though. I think a lot of people, including me, were really curious to see what Aaron Dell's role would be on this team, because I think Aaron Dell is a great guy to have in there because obviously he's been there, he's done that. You've got two younger goalies in Makiniemi and Straussman, who hasn't started yet. Who obviously I think he's going to be a good mentor to them. I think he's also a good safety blanket because I think, say what you will about Aaron Dell, but Aaron Dell is a very good AHL goalie. I think he's a great safety blanket for them. And I think he had a hell of a game last night. It kind of went off the rails, but it wasn't really his fault that it went off the rails. I thought he did everything he could to try and get them out of there with a regulation win, and just, again, mistakes that I think we're coming out of fatigue a little bit. And just, again, a lot of these guys playing together, AHL training camp's not very long. You have 2 exhibition games, and a lot of that was spent trying to figure out who was going to round out the roster. I think they had an idea of who they were going to keep and who was going down, but they had to, who's going to the ECHL, sorry. So I think there's obviously a few things that they're still working out, but I thought it was a really good effort by the Barracuda. Obviously a little scared when they coughed up the lead, but they did end up winning in a shootout. Agazzino scored, the new captain of the Barracuda, scored in the shootout, and that was the first game. Today's game, a much better game from the Barracuda. They didn't really get into penalty problems. I thought they might, because by the end of the second period, the game was getting really, really chippy. And I thought that they might get into trouble. But no, they locked it down. I thought that Ryan Merkley had a really good game this game. I thought defensively Ryan Merkley was really good yesterday. Mm-hmm. But offensively, the one thing that with Ryan Merkley is sometimes I find he'll kind of just take the puck for a little adventure, and he doesn't know where he's going with it, and he just kind of goes into nothing with it. He'll hold the puck too long, and then he has nowhere to go with the puck. This game, I thought he was a lot better, especially defensively. I think whatever they told him when they sent him back to the Barracuda, definitely, I think it's a message that he's received, because I think he made a couple of really surprising to me plays on the defensive side of the puck. Today's game, William Eklund got on the board finally, so that was good to see. I mean, finally, it was the second game of the season.
Well, first AHL goal, right?
Yeah, first AHL goal. So it was nice to see that. William Eklund has been really good so far. Thomas Bordeleau I think he's the guy right now. Like, if you were gonna ask me, like, who's the next guy up, it's Bordeleau. I think he is the most NHL ready of the group, and I don't want people to be like, oh no, what about William Eklund? William Eklund's going to be fine. Like, I think he's still making some adjustments, and I think he's playing really, really well. I just think if I had to compare them and you put a gun to my head right now and said who's the better of the two right now, I would probably say Bordeleau. The other thing that happened today, I think Weisblatt's injured because he hasn't drawn in yet, and he did get hurt in a preseason game, but unfortunately for things like this, it's hard to get information on stuff like that. So I'm assuming he's not, that he's hurt. Daniel Gushchin played the first game. He was replaced by Kuhre today, and I thought Kuhre had a really good game. And Broden Smith in the chat there bringing up, how thoughts on Robbins. Robbins is really good. He scored a goal yesterday or today.
It was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Sorry. Robbins. I've been really happy with Robbins. I think Robbins is a hell of a player. I think he's going to be a guy who I think is going to get a lot of attention as the Barracuda season drags on. But yeah, he probably doesn't get mentioned enough. I think there's guys that are a little more flashy, like your Gushkins, your Eklunds, your Bordelos, who are going to get a lot of the hype. But Tristan Robbins is a player, man. I really like him.
Yeah, I've always. I remember he was in Saskatoon in the WHL, right? And he had some nice plays. Overall, yeah, and it's again, this is where it's nice to see the kids playing together, rather than have Bordelot or Eklund, one of them or two of them up with the Sharks and the other two. It's nice to see that they can build the chemistry down there, and when they all come up, that should be something special.
It should be. Here's the thing too, right? And here's the other cautionary tale, right? Like, you don't want to. You have to be very careful. Like, there's an art to this, right? Like, you don't want to be a team like Edmonton and have to rebuild your rebuild because you put all your guys in the NHL right away, and then all they did was lose.
Right.
Like, so I think it's good having them. Like, do I think that some of these kids would be better than some of the players they're playing? Yeah, I think they are. But having to kick down the door to get to the NHL it's not the worst thing. And honestly, like, and I'm not just saying this because I'm selfish and I just want the Barracuda to be awesome so I can be like, hee, I get to cover the Barracuda. You guys suck.
This
right?
just
like,
Ian's doing the next 78 After Darks on his own. Suck it. I'm watching. All of a sudden, we're doing Barracuda After Darks. I don't know how that happened.
Oh my god. No, I think, again, like, I personally, like, seeing games like tonight, I don't want the kids anywhere near this fucking gong show. Right. I don't want them there, man. And like, and it's fine, right? Like, you go back, and I'll just use Edmonton as an example again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was a time where they could not jettison Leon Draisaitl out of there fast enough because of just how dysfunctional that fucking team was.
Right.
Did that ruin Leon Draisaitl?
Nope.
No, it didn't. He was fine. He went back to junior and it was fine. Or, like, junior, AHL, whatever, right? Like, again, just because, like, it would be nice for them to get AHL reps, like, to get NHL reps. I get that. There'll be time. If injuries happen, eventually they're going to have to start calling guys up. The trade deadline, we're assuming there's going to be some selling, right? Well, obviously that's going to make opportunities for other guys to come in. So I think, the Barracuda are off to a good start. I would hate to see them fuck with that just to try and juice some offense on a team that's still going to finish last in their division.
A fair point. And I
right, because you want, and the other thing too, you want to make sure is, like, you want guys playing minutes. Do you want William Eklund playing 7 minutes
on the third or fourth line?
17
on the top line. Bingo.
On the power play.
Yeah.
Right? 17, 20. Like, what would you rather?
Exactly. I mean, as painful as it is, and no disrespect to Nick Bonino, yeah, we would love for Borrello to be on the second power play unit with the Sharks. But if that means he's only going to get 8-9 minutes a game.
Bold of you to think that if he was on the team, he'd still be on the power play.
For Borrello? Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, what we were begging for Balsers to be on the power play last year, and I swear I thought I saw Gadjevich for a moment before Balsers at some time last year. So,
yeah, look at. I mean, again, right? Like, this team is what it is. I don't know, man. Like, but I do, like, I encourage you. Like, I understand that for the quality, maybe the AHL money, and again, there's other ways to watch. But I think if you do have the extra scratch or you want to play the pop up game, then, like, give this team a watch, man. Like, it's. If this season's going if it continues going the way it is, and again, it's only 4 games in, but if this season continues going the way it is, like, it'll probably be a nice break from this.
Yeah. And with that, don't forget the Barracuda have home games next weekend, so get on out there. I mean, I think AJ's going to the home opener. I may try to get to one of them. I've been dying to see a full rink in that barn, so it'll be really cool. So that's your Barracuda recap for that. They're 2-0, taking down the Iowa Wild. Like we said, next weekend they are coming home for their they're coming home for it. So wow, we're Lane Peterson. Yeah, Lane Peterson. Never forget that one. The secret move in
before
that
we move
trade.
on to another thing, I just want to say quickly. So I've been doing I've been kind of tweeting out the game stuff on the Teal Town account. If there is, I don't know, I'm still trying to find my footing here. Like I'm trying to make it interesting and whatever. But if there's something that you would like, maybe if there's something that I'm not doing that you think I should be doing, hit me up on Twitter. Let me know what how you would improve how I'm covering the team on Twitter, and that'd be helpful because I'm still trying to figure all this out.
We need more Philip Bystedt gifts. Ian's like, I don't sleep enough already.
I don't sleep enough already. Fuck off.
Ian, I love you, man. All right. With that, I think it's time for us to get out of here. In case you missed anything or you want to watch...
Did you guys get your money's worth? Did you get your money's worth? Did I rant enough? Are we good?
Oh, do you need to go more? I mean, we can go more.
I want to make sure people got their mon's worth, man.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it. Did you get your money's worth, people? Let's hear it in the chat. I see you laughing, Mark. Oh, Ruben. More F's in your goal tweets. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, right. Thanks, Ruben. Dang it. Matthew Phipps saying Vicetech got player of the match today. So, again, let them marinate. And for Bystedt, that's over on the other side of the world.
Yeah. Now. No, exactly, right? Like, again, there's no rush. Like, there's no rush. Let the kids get they will come in when they're ready, and when they're ready, they will do fine.
Right.
I'm confident in that.
Absolutely.
Especially like the big guys, right? Like don't be worried. Eklund, Bortolo, these guys are going to be fine. The AHL is not doing them any harm.
It'll be okay, people. It'll be okay. We hope. Maybe. I mean, we're unsure at this point because let's be honest. It's we're 4 games in and it's already frustration. And you know what? I totally get it. I sat through 11-71-2 growing up, hearing from other kids, hey, I heard the Sharks didn't lose the other day. It's like, yeah. Oh, just kidding. They didn't play them yesterday. Yeah, great. Thanks. On that note, in case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher. That includes your Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio. I almost messed it up like Landy did. Odyssey. Of course, always available at tealtownusa.com. Of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, please smash those like, subscribe, and notification bell buttons. They do go a long way. And of course, leave a comment down below if you have anything to share about tonight's game and you didn't get on to the live chat. So, Felix didn't lose a certain way to put it. Yeah, that's for sure. So, Ian, final thoughts? Where can the people find you?
You can find me at Ian Blogs Hockey on the Twitter machine. I keep thinking of you. You said you kept talking about like after dark, about like if we were doing it during like the dead season. I'm like, I would have been 12. I wonder. I can imagine the stupid shit I would say at 12 years old with a microphone on the internet. I mean, the internet wasn't even a thing. Fuck, I'm old. Okay, that's enough of that.
Shush. We are not old, Ian. Stop it. He's at Ian Blogs Hockey on the Twitter machine.
Yes, tomorrow, Pucknologists. Be there, be square.
Oh, are you joining?
to know.
Oh, okay. I was gonna be like, oh yeah. Trust me. Talking to AJ at the at the street rally. Oh, he's fired up. I honestly though, yeah, I mean, if it's gonna be a 3-hour technologist, I believe we're contractually obligated to have you on there. So, I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. We will be back with you on Tuesday as the Sharks take on the Islanders. They won't have their fisherman jerseys on yet. Damn it. That is I believe it's a 4:00 start on Long Island. So we'll be on the lookout for that. But until then, make sure you check out Ian and Kevin's Barracuda preview with Nick Nolenberger. That was done a while ago. I know I'm a week late, but I'm trying to finally promote it a little bit more.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I'm an idiot.
No, it's fine. We're fine.
Randy Hahn and I chatted for a little bit. That was a good one. Of course, we have Pucknologist tomorrow night. So stay with us. That's why we say hit that subscribe button.
Hit the bell, and then you'll know when we do crazy shit.
Hit the bell. Yes. And until tomorrow night with Pucknologist, Tuesday with After Dark, check out all of our stuff on the YouTube channel. Keep it real. Keep it Teal. Keep it real, Teal. Thanks for watching, everyone. Now go celebrate the Dodgers being eliminated. Have a great night, everyone. Woohoo!